I just did the dirtiest decontamination I've ever done in my life. This was a very dirty camper van that hasn't been washed since last summer, and it's done some camping, and it had mold and moss growing in every crevice, as well as a very gnarly graveyard of bugs all over the front end. There's probably a lot of you guys who've done much dirtier jobs. That's just not usually my thing. I'm also going to talk about foam cannons because a lot of people misuse or misunderstand or just don't even really utilize foam cannons for how they're meant to be used and waste a lot of product. So we're going to save you some product. We're going to help you understand foam cannons better and get a lot more out of your wash process, as well as show you what our chemicals can really do here. So the first thing that I did was I wanted to show a split test between our wash flow products and some other good solid products that I've used, showing how well ours work with bugs. But the one thing that I'll say about this test is I didn't use another bug off product because I didn't have it on hand at the time and realized, oh, this is what I really want to test. What we're actually testing is our products being used as a contact wash and our multiple stage of contact, with the step 1 being contact and step 2 being a rinseless contact, and how that adds up to a much cleaner and sparklier panel. But it wouldn't have been fair to not have a pre-spray on the bugs all across the panel, because that's gonna make the biggest difference. And because I didn't have a dedicated bug off product, I just used Hot Lap in a 1 to 10 or 10 to 1, however you want to say it, dilution, so 10 parts water, 1 part Hot Lap bottle, and pre-sprayed the front end with that on the entire thing, and then pressure washed, and then started the test from there. So you can already see from using Hot Lap in that situation as a pre-spray, it does a really good job of like melting a lot of the blood and the guts and all the organic material of the bugs, because that's what high pH or alkaline products are really best for. So I sprayed that down and then pressure wash. And then the split test was our foam, so Hot Lap, versus a gentle snow foam on the other side. And what I wanted to show was that gliding over this type of stuff with a gentle snow foam guarantees that you will have to come back and spot clean it later, because you're going to be kind of gliding right over the debris and you're not going to be able to pick it up, which helps with reducing scratches, but it doesn't help with actual cleaning. And then our Hot Lap is gaining a little bit of agitation from this, but doing a lot more work chemically because it's not neutral pH. But ultimately, like, I'll be honest, what I noticed was, yes, our side was cleaner, but not by that much, and that's because we pre-sprayed it. So even if you don't use our products, pre-spraying and pressure washing is gonna help a lot. But I did notice on the gentle snow foam side, you know, you're getting a lot of passover and you're not really actually picking up a lot of the bugs, so there was some extra bits. There's also some stuff on this front end, some sap and some things that have been there for so long that, you know, I had to manually move them off with like my fingernail. But that's kind of standard, especially with sap. Once it's set for a really long time, sometimes alcohol will work really well for that, but otherwise you're not really gonna get that off without, you know, really picking at it. And then because the gentle foam kind of went right over it, it needed a detail spray, but then the detail spray didn't really clean very much. So it was really hard to get those final gut splatters off. And then the side where we used our step 2 on was perfectly clean afterwards, didn't need any more work, and it looks really great. And then I had to go back over that side with step 2. So the double attack here of appropriate complementary chemistry and not being overly weak for no reason other than trying to save your plastic bits from harsh chemicals. But the benefit is that ours don't really have that drawback, because we're very specific on ingredient selection and concentration, and as long as you rinse it off and use step 2, there's zero risk. Now, moving on to the rest of the vehicle is where I want to talk about foam cannons. One big common misinterpretation of foam cannons is that more foam is better. Foamier soaps are better. And while having a lot of foam on the panel when you're doing a contact wash is really helpful, when you're not doing a contact wash, it's not necessary, and here's why. 99% of what foam is coming out of a foam cannon is air. You're picking up the product through the down tube, mixing it with water and air, and blowing it out very aggressively, agitated, and because of the pressure change, it's atomizing, it's mixing with air, and it's foaming. You can't do this well if you don't have a soap product. You're not gonna get foam just out of water and air because of this. But the thickness of the foam is a combination of these surfactants and foaming agents and air and water mixture, but the volume is mostly due to air being trapped within the product, basically cloud, if you will. And then here's the big difference. Once it hits the panel, when it's very thick, the majority of what's clinging to the panel is this thick, light foam structure with minimal contact on the actual film on the panel because of the air bubbles that are preventing that contact. So you have less surface contact area than you would if you're using completely unfoamed product. Now, the benefit is that it stays in place. So if you're doing a contact wash, that can help with glide of the mitt or the towel, of course. But until that foam starts to collapse and coalesce, the actual product isn't really touching the panel that much, and it's not soaking into the panel as much as you would think. But especially with a product like this, where it's high pH, our Formula Hot Lap, it's going to be breaking the bonds chemically with the film, dissolving and disintegrating the film and the oils in the film. So then it is going to move down the panel automatically and not stay in place because of the chemical action. So in theory, you'd be better off with a more fluid mixture and doing multiple passes than letting a thick foam dwell, in theory. But in reality, how this really works out is you want a good mixture of foam. You want to spray it on, you want to let it dwell once, but you're going to see it move down the panel. It's not going to stay in place. It's not because the foam isn't thick enough or there's not enough foaming agents. It's because of the solvents and it's because of the chemical action. It's supposed to do that, but because of that, you don't really need to be using more air in the mixture because the whole purpose is to dissolve the film on the panel. Now, theory is all fun and nerdy and stuff, but what does this actually translate to when you're using a foam cannon? First of all, if you use the thickest foam, so the most concentrated dial setting, and you layer it on thick, you're going to be using the most amount of product very quickly, and the foam is going to stick the longest only for the reason that the foam hasn't collapsed yet, not because it's doing more work necessarily. This is part of the reason why we have recommended soapy pre-rinses. So doing a really diluted product, so dial all the way to the left, rinsing the panel with that is to spend more time getting the actual product into the film and soaking and using minimal product rather than just relying on one thick foam dwell. But even if you don't do that and you really don't need to do that, what you can do is you can dial the concentration back to the point where the foam is now very fluid and it's not clinging, and then just go one step up from there. And then at that point, you're gonna get some clean, lots of surface contact, lots of chemical action, and minimal product use, which is key. Also worth mentioning, this high concentration, lower foam setting is ideal for pre-washing and some contact washing. It can absolutely work, but we're looking for the biggest punch. But then if you want to actually do a contact wash, you could argue that a lower concentration, so a 10-to-1 mixture, with a higher dial setting to mix more air in and get more foam and coverage with using less product technically, is great for contact washing. In fact, I would say for this product, 10-to-1 high foam, better for contact washing. Lower foam, higher concentration, 5-to-1, better for pre-washing and cleaning wheels and things like that. I have used an entire half a foam cannon on a small car, layering on foam uselessly and having no better result. If you are going to be doing a contact wash, obviously dial it up thick, but you don't need to layer it on super thick because the foam coverage is going to be enough, and also your mitt or your towel should also be covered by soap or foam itself. You can actually, I throw the towel on the hood flat and then I spray over it, and then it's got its own lubrication and foam glide layer on itself. But even in those cases, you don't need that much foam. Realistically, if you're dialing and using the right amount of foam, keeping the concentration of the fluid at maximum, so 1-to-4, 1-to-5, but then using the actual dial to get the right level of necessary foam and not overly spraying it, you should be able to get 3-4 washes out of a whole thing of this, no matter the vehicle size. I did the entire van with less than half of one of these, and I sprayed it multiple times. So foam cannon out of the way, here's how we attacked the rest of the van and the results. Going in sections, I did a pre-soak with foam and then pressure wash, and then I did a foam contact with a towel. So I just towel fold method, don't use buckets, don't really need them. I did a detail attack with the more contaminated areas with a gentle detail brush. And we saw this in our interior kit, and I had another one hanging around that I used that was just slightly bigger. And I got into the nooks and crannies with that, with the foam. And because this vehicle is very large, I was doing this in parts. So I was like hitting an area with foam, doing the job, rinsing it off. It takes so long to get around a vehicle like this, you don't want to let the soap just sit on all of the panels while you're going around doing all of this work, especially at this degree in which it was contaminated. And then I also went back over a lot of the embedded panels, because this is a situation where you would actually want to use actual clay and paint correction because they're embedded contaminants. Heavier duty chemicals like iron fallout removers are really good for this stuff, and clay towels can be less harsh on the surface, so you're not getting a lot of marring. But honestly, I don't clay without paint correction afterwards, so that's just not an option for me, and I was not gonna paint correct this van. So this is where I brought in step 2, was to remove the really embedded contaminants from the paint that weren't coming off with any washing. So working into some of the worst areas with step 2 and the towel with gentle pressure, like I only went as hard as I needed to. I was picking up a lot of that stuff. That stuff's not gonna mar your paint too bad. Like clay itself is an abrasive, so it's going to mar your paint very badly if it's strong enough to pick up contaminants like this. So I think this was actually a little bit safer, just less effective. I mean, if I wanted to go around with a piece of clay because I was going to paint correct afterwards, it would be way faster and a lot less effort. But here it goes to show what our products can do. Now, another few things that I had to do was, get on top of the roof. I didn't film that, and pressure wash and, do some things to clean where I couldn't reach. No one has ever taken these hubcaps off, so I got in there with a 10-to-1 dilution of hot lap, or 1 to 10. So 1 part hot lap, 10 parts water, and that's the same one that I used on the bugs, and did some brushing. Again, this is where you'd use an iron remover typically, but I was blown away by how much of this we got through with just a brush and the product. Now, spraying the product out of the bottle is way more concentrated than out of the foam cannon with any level of concentration in the foam cannon, because the bottle is not further mixing the product with the hose water. So it's actually really concentrated. It removes tire browning really well this way, and clearly it was getting through a lot of the iron and brake dust buildup. It wasn't perfect afterwards. There's a lot of caked on, like probably a decade-old plus iron in there that I think I could have gotten through with this product, but I didn't want to take the time. Usually you would just use an iron remover in that case, especially because this was not a detailed job. This was a free, like, let me show you how much better I can make this van with our products. And then here's the end result. It did a fantastic job, and I think these products slot in really well along with some of those more professional raw materials that you can get from other brands, especially replacing some similar products. Like when you're replacing a detail spray, don't even bother, get one wiper. If you're replacing a high pH pre-wash or APC, don't even bother, use hot lap, those kinds of things where it doesn't have to be everything that you own, but if you're a detailer, you're gonna have other chemicals anyways for those really specific jobs. All right, I don't wanna hear any more comments about this will never clean anything or clean bugs or anything. I've never really understood those because these are more serious chemicals than what most people are actually used to using, ironically. They'll do the work for you.